All right, in this lesson, I want to talk just a second about using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot in our IDE and also on the web. So what I like to do is I'm actually logged in right now into ChatGPT, and I'm just going to switch over to 4.0 with Canvas, okay? And I'm going to ask it to build a simple Python application that asks a user in the terminal for two numbers and outputs the results using f-string. Okay, and we can talk about that in just a second. And it should just start building it out, and it will give it this kind of look, okay? And it gives us this application that it just built. Okay, so let's talk about some of these things. First, it created a new function called def main, and then at the very end it called main. Okay, and the way it works is it creates the application. It's procedural, so it starts up here with line 1, and the application will read the entire thing, and then when it hits down here on line 18, it will actually run main. Okay, now within the application it creates two numbers, okay? So num1 and num2. And then it asks for inputs. Enter the first number, enter the second number, okay? And then this float function turns both of the things that were input into floats or numbers, okay? So you have float, int or integer, and just regular string or text. So it will convert it to a float. Then it does some basic operations. Here it says it creates a variable called sum result, and it adds the two numbers together. It does the difference, adds the two numbers, or subtracts the two. Product, same thing. Quotient, same thing. It actually adds a little if statement here in case you try to divide by 0. Doesn't like that. And then it outputs the results. Notice on the output, it has a print statement, and it says inside the print, with the parentheses, it has an F with quotes. That's what I call an F string. So with F string, you say F, quote, then you can just type whatever sentence you want, and you put your variables in these curly brackets. And it will take the variables and put them right into it. And that's how it runs. So let's take a look at this code, and let's just go right back into our PyCharm, and we'll just paste the whole thing in. So I'll just select everything and just paste it right in, and we'll run the current file. Okay, so I'm going to run that current file, and notice it says enter the first number. So I'm just going to put in 100, enter the second number 20, and it will then output the sum of 120 is 120. The difference when 20 is subtracted from 100 is 80. The product of 120 is 2000, and the quotient is the 100 divided by 20 is 5. Okay, now I don't like the formatting for this, and I can go in and try to figure out the formatting, or I can just come over here into chat and say, format the output to 2 decimals. And I can hit enter, and it will come over here, and it will rewrite the output. Notice it changed the output here. It added a colon with a period for a decimal place, 2, and F is for float. So I can come back over here, I can copy all that back in, go back to my code, paste the whole thing back in, and run it again. Just hit the little run button, enter the first number, we'll do 500 this time, 20, and now it will give us 2 decimal places. Okay, so that's how I would use ChatGPT. Now, because I also have Copilot, I can do the same thing. Instead of coming down here and asking it, I could just say change to 3 places. Okay, and then if I hit enter, it will actually. I think the best way to do this, and I'm still playing with this quite a bit. I can go right into chat, and I could say change the code in test.py to format 3 decimal places, and hit enter, and it should come down, and it looks like it's changing all the code because it can read all the code, and it will come down and it will say I'm going to change it to 3 decimal places. So it does know what it does. And I can actually come up here and I can hit copy the code block and paste it in. And now that is at 3 decimal places. Okay. That's how you could use chat. Now, you could also in chat, you can say, give me a main function that takes 4 numbers and adds them together. And then it will, and print to 3 decimal places. And then def main, and then give it a second. And it's thinking. You could tell down here that it was thinking, okay? And if I hit tab, it will finish the whole thing. It will take all 4 numbers and add them together. So putting it into a comment up here also changes it down here, okay? So I like to use a combination of both ChatGPT and the GitHub Copilot. I'm a big fan of GitHub Copilot. It has a lot of good resources and it does a lot of cool stuff, but ChatGPT also does too. So that's how I use both of those in starting this class.